CBS 31, the one and only station where you can find ISU basketball.
Illinois State hosts Evansville Saturday at 3 on CBS 31.
2 Valley titles. Tonight he hopes his team can cut down the Aces. Evansville and ISU up next on CBS 31.
Welcome to Illinois State Redbird basketball.
Baby, baby, it looks like it's gonna happen. Baby, baby, it looks like it's gonna happen. You better come inside, let me teach you how to jive and well. Oh, you gotta jump jive, then you wear, 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 you gotta jump jive, then you wear the wear.
Senior day at Redbird Arena, where 3 ISU players put wraps on their college careers, and the ISU Redbirds put a wrap on their home schedule, hosting the front-running Evansville Purple Aces. Hello again, everybody. Welcome to CBS 31's coverage of Illinois State University basketball. Kurt Pegler along with Matt Taphorn. Matt, the Evansville Purple Aces have at least clinched a share of the conference championship. With a win here today, they can clinch it outright.
Yeah, and this has been remarkable for Evansville, too, because year after year, they've come into this league, played very well from the start, but haven't finished out the season strong. This year they've been able to do that, and 12-4 in the league right now. Very impressive for Evansville.
Marcus Wilson is the guy that leads their charge.
Yeah, Marcus Wilson is a guy, 20 points a game, really stepped up this year for Evansville. He's a guy that's really heavily considered for Player of the Year honors in the Valley.
Meanwhile, the Redbirds wrap up their schedule at home with Kenneth Pearson, Kyle Cartmell, and Leroy Watkins playing their final home games.
Yeah, Watkins, remarkably enough, now the all-time career leader in block shots, and also 100 steals and 100 block shots. Only 3 players in league history to have done that. Mitchell Anderson, Xavier McDaniel, the others.
Evansville tries to wrap up the conference championship with a victory at Illinois State. Can the Redbirds spoil the party? We've got the starting lineups and the opening tap up next here on CBS 31.
Illinois.
Welcome back to Redbird Arena. It's senior day here at Illinois State as the Redbirds prepare to tackle the Evansville Purple Aces. Let's take a look at the starting lineups for this afternoon's basketball game. First, for the visiting Aces from Evansville, who have already clinched at least a share of the title in the Missouri Valley Conference. Marcus Wilson, perhaps the Missouri Valley Conference Player of the Year. He, Adam Seitz, Craig Snow, Kwame James, and Jeremy Stanton, a U-High grad, returning home. The team is coached by another Normal resident, former Normal resident, Jim Cruz. 252 wins and 157 losses in 14 years at Evansville. Illinois State, on the other hand, comes into the ball game 14-13, 6-10 record. The Redbirds are starting their seniors on senior day. Outside of Vic Williams, who's a freshman, and Ryan Crowley, who's a junior, you'll see Kyle Cartmell, Kenneth Pearson, and Leroy Watkins, the 3 active seniors in the lineup. Redbirds are coached by Kevin Stallings. 121 wins and 61 losses in 6 years at Illinois State, and he has owned Evansville. 9-1 lifetime against the Aces. The series is lopsided in favor of the Redbirds as well. ISU has won 8 straight against Evansville, and 11 of the 15 overall meetings, including an 81-80 victory in Evansville last month.
Well, the difference in that game was that L.D. Murdoch had 24 points and really was unstoppable against Evansville, who's not a very strong team inside. You know, really counts on Marcus Wilson to do a lot of things for them, and they're a very good shooting team, not only from the 2-point field goal percentage range, but also 3-point field goal percentage. They're 6th in the country in that category.
A very, very good shooting team. That's been the secret to the success of the Purple Aces, who were picked 6th in the preseason poll, and as we say, have already at least clinched a share of the championship and can win the Valley title outright, dethroning Illinois State with a victory this afternoon. The officials for tonight's game: John Higgins, Ron Burkholtz, and Terry Davis. Evansville wearing its purple uniforms on the road. Illinois State, the white home uniforms with red trim. Leroy Watkins to jump for the Redbirds against Kwame James for Evansville. And we are underway here at Redbird Arena as Illinois State controls the tap back to Vic Williams. And we're glad you're alongside for afternoon basketball in the Valley. Evansville and Illinois State here on CBS 31.
Illinois State, over the last few ball games, has done very well against the top contending teams coming in here to Normal. Hasn't done as well with the bottom of the group, but Evansville coming in here today is going to be much more determined.
Vic Williams' pull-up jumper from the baseline is no good, and the rebound is controlled by Craig Snow. Back comes Evansville. Marcus Wilson almost lost the ball, and somehow nope, that time he did step on the end line. I was going to say, otherwise he really did a nice bit of dancing down in front of the Redbird bench.
Yeah, tough pass that time by Adam Seitz going across court. Wilson was lucky just to get a hand on it. It was thrown a little bit behind him and high. Touched the end line. Redbirds get possession.
Cartmill, Pearson, and Leroy Watkins, again, the three seniors starting for the Redbirds. Ryan Crowley the miss, but it's followed in by Pearson.
Good move by Crowley that time to get it to the basket in a hurry, but his short stature and lack of leaping ability forced the errant shot. But again, Kenneth Pearson on the cleanup.
Here's Seitz. Dribbles in and lays it in with the left hand.
Nice looking shot that time by the freshman Seitz as he's going down the lane. He stayed under control and kept his eye on Watkins the whole time. Again, the all-time career shot block leader for Illinois State.
2-2 ball game. We've played a minute and a half here at Redbird Arena. Seitz almost daring Crowley to take the shot, really sagged off him. 13 on the shot clock now. Williams gives it up to Crowley with 10 on the clock. Back to Williams. Dribble drive. Tried to scoop it inside, back to Crowley, picked off by Evansville. Long lead pass ahead to Jeremy Stanton, down off the glass and in.
That's good awareness that time by Wilson. He saw Stanton as soon as he got his hands on the ball, streaking the other way. Led him nicely down at the other end for the lay-in.
Aces have their first lead of the game, 4-2.
Just a solid ball club. They don't make a lot of mistakes.
Ryan Crowley drew a foul that time as he was guarded aggressively by Adam Seitz. That'll be the first team foul on the Aces and our first foul of the afternoon.
A lot of action going through the basket by the Redbirds. You have Crowley on 2 separate occasions, and Victor Williams on this time as Crowley goes to the basket, he's able to draw the foul before the shot goes in. But again, just great action by the Redbirds going through the basket, forcing the offense, and hopefully getting some situations out of that where they can either score or get fouled.
Sean Riley's entered the game replacing Kenny Pearson. That's him with the basketball. Gives it up to Crowley now. Redbirds working on the perimeter. It's Kyle Cartmill for 3.
Good ball movement there. Victor Williams unselfishly passed up a shot. Hit Kyle Cartmill, who's a little bit more open for the open shot.
And Adam Seitz took a stutter step. He's whistled for the traveling violation. Second turnover now for the Purple Aces.
Cartmill, when he's on, is tough to guard, and you know, in a game like this, if he can get himself going early, could have a big day.
5-4 Illinois State. We're just underway here, 2.5 minutes into this basketball game. Crowley almost walked. Here's Cartmill now. Behind a screen from Sean Riley, dribbles through the defenders, but lost the ball out of bounds, and it goes to Evansville.
Yeah, Evansville playing a matchup zone, staying with the perimeter players for the most part in somewhat of a man-to-man matchup. But everybody knows where their position is at all times, and you know, a very veteran ball club.
Here's Craig Snow. Gives it up to Wilson. Floater in the lane, and Marcus Wilson's in the scorebook. His first hoop. It's now a 6-5 lead for Evansville.
Again, as we touched on early, Marcus Wilson, I would say, is the front runner right now for the Valley Player of the Year.
I agree with you. Wilson comes down, or Kwame James, I should say, comes down with the errant shot from Vic Williams. Now here's Wilson in the front court. Gives it up to Stanton on the baseline. Scooped it up and rolled it in.
Tough shot by Stanton. Good job avoiding Leroy Watkins again. He's not a guy that's going to score a lot of points for you on the year. He's averaging only 5 points a ball game, but really picks and chooses his spots.
Stanton, a U-high guy, so he's playing in front of some family and friends here at Redbird Arena. Leroy Watkins fouled again by Seitz. That'll be his second, and Evansville's second team foul.
Good cut that time by Watkins as he hit Riley down on the post. A double team against Riley. Watkins went directly to the basket with a nice return pass from Riley, and he picks up the foul, and second on Seitz.
Now we've got some substitutions. Seeing Kyle Runyon for the first time and Kurt Begley for the first time as well for Evansville. Off the inbounds, it's a long 3 from Kyle Cartmill, no good, and a foul on Sean Riley as he was over the back of Snow for that offensive rebound.
A little quick on the trigger that time by Cartmill. Nice little shot fake that time. Would have got the defender by him for an open look. But again, when he hit his first shot, that gives him a little bit of confidence. He just needs to settle back down and pick his opportunities a little better.
4 minutes into this basketball game, Evansville with the early 8-5 lead, and the Aces with the basketball. Here's Snow. His shot is rejected by Leroy Watkins, but some contact before the shot. We'll see if it's on Riley or Watkins. Riley.
It'll be on Riley.
That's his second.
So Riley again coming over on the help side defense, helping Watkins, who was beaten on the drive. Watkins does a good job just recovering to the shot, and as you can see, gets a big piece of it and blocks it. But Riley's there and tries to draw the charge, just slides over to get the blocking foul.
Greg Snow to the free throw line, where he's a 81% free thrower. This is a very good free throw shooting team.
Yeah, third in the country. We talked about their three-point field goal shooting. They're also second in the country in field goal percentage, third in free throw percentage. So just a very solid ball club.
Snow makes both free throws, and there's a timeout on the floor. Early lead for Evansville. The Aces have doubled Illinois State here at Redbird Arena. Illinois State trails Evansville early on 10-5. We've just played 5 minutes here. Kurt Pegler, Matt Taphorn with you as Evansville and Illinois State round out the home portion of ISU's schedule. The Redbirds will finish the year at Indiana State on Monday night. The Missouri Valley Conference postseason tournament in St. Louis next weekend. So the regular season is upon us as far as the finish is concerned.
You can tell with Evansville and their approach to this ball game, they're all business as they come out here today. And you know, the fact that they're in the lead in the Valley by 2 games is not a fluke.
A chance for the Aces to win their first Missouri Valley Conference championship outright with a victory in either today's game or Monday's game. Nice reverse layup by Kenny Pearson.
Yeah, nice move by Pearson again, using the basket to his advantage and not allowing the defender to get to his shot.
Marcus Wilson for 3. He's fouled. He's going to get 3 free throws.
Yeah, Crowley came out a little too aggressive that time against Wilson as he went up for the shot. And from three-point range, he gets 3 shots at the line where he's shooting 89% on the season.
Marcus Wilson and Creighton's Rodney Buford and Bradley's Rob Dye are likely going to be the top 3 candidates for Missouri Valley Conference Player of the Year.
You may even throw Danny Moore in there, a probable first-teamer. But I don't, they were really picked to be there. I've got to say Wilson, with the outcome that Evansville's got this year, has got to be the front runner. Just from the standpoint that the preseason they were picked 6th.
He'd certainly get my vote. He knocks down all 3 of those free throws, and it's a 13-7 Evansville lead.
We talked about Evansville's shooting ability. They've hit their first 4 shots and first 5 free throws, have not missed a shot yet.
Vic Williams draws the double team, gives it up to Crowley, works the baseline now over Runyon. His shot rolls in.
Tough shot by Crowley. Again, aggressive move to the basket. That's the 3rd time already in the early going that Crowley's taken the ball to the basket.
Snow's pass is picked off, but we got an offensive foul on Craig Snow.
Good job by Kenneth Pearson. Realizing Snow was coming down the lane out of control, just slid over to take the charge. And again, Kenneth Pearson being a big factor in the early going of this game with 4 points. Hasn't been in there at extensive periods throughout the season, but he's been called upon more with L.D. Murdoch out of the lineup.
And it's Pearson's drop down pass to Leroy Watkins, who misses the shot. Snow the board. Here comes Jeremy Stanton now. His bounce pass to the near side, and Wilson looks for some help. Working on Crowley, who draws his 2nd foul now. Ryan Crowley bodying up on Marcus Wilson.
Yeah, Wilson really causing that foul that time. He took the initiative to go to the basket hard, and Crowley was trailing a little bit on the play, and in order to catch up to him, you can see his hand on the waist that time of Marcus Wilson. That's exactly what the official behind the play saw, and again, Crowley whistled for his 2nd foul.
Tyrese Bryson comes into the ballgame for the first time for Illinois State, as does Sean Jepson. And to the Redbird bench go Ryan Crowley and Kyle Cartmill. Evansville also making some changes as Jeremy Stanton and Kyle Runyon go to the bench. Kurt Begley in the ballgame, and we're seeing Clint Keon for the first time.
Keon's another freshman. He and Seitz are a couple good-looking guards that are out there, or just freshmen. So Evansville still has a lot coming back even after this year.
Begley inside scores off the glass, and Evansville is a perfect 5 out of 5 from the floor and off to a 15-9 advantage.
Begley off the bench averages 11 points a game. Again, a senior for this team, and again, a solid player for them, and really contributed to their success.
Vic Williams left open and knocked down the 3. Williams has stepped up his offensive production. He's had 4 straight games now where he scored in double digits. 15-12 the Evansville lead. Here's Keon. Now Seitz, and here's Wilson. One-on-one with Bryson. Works to the baseline, hangs, fires, and scores off the glass.
Tough shot. Tyrese Bryson was in his face the whole way, and Marcus Wilson just did a good job of adjusting his shot and able to knock it in. Again, Evansville yet to miss a shot in this ballgame.
6 out of 6 from the floor in the early going for Evansville, which has a 17-12 advantage over Illinois State. Here's Pearson now, looking inside for Watkins. Almost lost the dribble, looking for help. 12 on the shot clock. Bryson draws the double team, 10 to shoot. Skip pass in the corner. Jepson the pump fake. 5 on the shot clock. He needs some help. Here's Pearson. He hangs and just barely nicks the rim. Under 13 to go in the half.
A little unorganized on the offensive end that time by the Redbirds, and just, not really taking many looks at the basket.
And Marcus Wilson scores off the glass again. He has 9 of his team's 19, and the Aces haven't missed. 7 out of 7 from the field. No wonder this team's field goal percentage is a gaudy 51.6%. Here's Sean Jepson answering for the Redbirds.
Tough shot by Jepson. Was fouled actually twice on the play by Seitz. Neither one of them called. Just stayed with the shot. His form was true to him and was able to knock it in.
Bounce pass down low to Seitz from Begley.
I'm not sure why Jepson was double teaming Begley on that play. Pearson had Begley guarded perfectly in the middle of the lane and just stayed with him, and for some reason Jepson came up and helped out and freed up Seitz wide open underneath the basket.
Kevin Stallings not happy at all, calls a 22nd timeout. His Redbirds trail 21-14. And Evansville, Matt, is 8 of 8 from the field. Now, many of their shots have come, like on this variety, down low. They've gotten great looks at the basket.
Well, that's been an easy shot, but Marcus Wilson's hit a couple of tough shots driving to the basket, and Begley had an open shot, but the Redbirds not really doing anything right now to take them out of their offense, and they just need to push them out further out on the floor and not give them the easy looks.
21-14, the Evansville advantage over Illinois State. Under 12 minutes now to play in the first half. Kyle Cartmill's back in the game for the Redbirds, as is Sean Riley, who's playing with 2 fouls. Here's Bryson with Jeremy Stanton guarding him. Pull-up jumper for Bryson, knocked it down. That's for 3, and he did it with Stanton in his face.
Yeah, the Redbirds down 7, even though Evansville has not missed a shot yet in this ballgame. So offensively, they're playing well, and as they have been throughout most of the season, but just defensively, they don't have an answer.
Now the Redbirds are within 4 after that 3 ball. Here's Kwame James now, draws the double team. His pass goes inside in another basket, this time by Chuck Heddy. 9 out of 9 from the floor for the Aces.
Cruz can put anybody he wants in the ballgame right now, and I think they're going to be successful. But again, a double team on the post against Kwame James, too far outside the lane. Probably an errant play by the Birds.
And Vic Williams answers for 3. The Redbirds are answering by shooting a 3 tonight.
And they're down 3. If they can get some stops on the defensive end, I mean, they're in this ball game the way it is.
Redbirds are 4 out of 5 from the 3-point arc so far in the early going, and have pulled back to within 3 points. Despite Evansville's perfect 100% shooting from the floor. Here's Stanton now behind the screen from Heddy. 8 on the shot clock.
Yeah, for a change, they've stepped up their defense. Now they're pushing them out on the floor.
Kwame James.
Oh, man.
The Aces now 10 out of 10 from the field. You'll recall earlier in the season, Illinois State rattled off a game that we did when they scored 10 straight. And the Aces have opened this ball game by doing the same. Here's Cartmill now in traffic. Nearly picked off. And the shot goes down by Vic Williams, who's on fire from the three-point line.
The Redbirds are shooting 60% from the field, 83% from three-point range.
On the other end,
There's
an
a miss.
actual miss by Adam Seitz, and the crowd is on its feet. The Redbirds have the ball and a chance to shoot for the tie.
They went the first 10 minutes of this half without a miss, either from the line or from the field.
Somebody turn
Look at
off Vic
Vic
Williams.
Williams.
He's on fire. He is 4 out of 5. From the three-point arch, he has 12 points in the game.
I don't know why they're not guarding him at all.
And quickly a basket on the other end by Kwame James.
The Birds that time were in a triangle and 2, but for some reason, they still had a mix-up in who they were supposed to guard or what areas they were guarding.
27-26. Evansville reclaims the lead. Tyrese Bryson misses the three and sights the board for the Aces.
A little quick shot that time by Bryson, trying to get himself on track and trying to get with the feeling that Vic Williams has.
9 minutes exactly to play here in the first half. Keon misses the shot, tipped out, and Vic Williams gets it. Only the second miss from the floor by the Aces here in the first 11 minutes of this basketball game.
Again, the Birds just need to push him out. That's the second miss for Evansville, and they've both been from three-point range. So as long as they push him out offensively, they can get some defensive stops.
Kwame James challenged Bryson down low. There was contact, but no foul.
A lot of contact that time, and James really went after Bryson. Was able to get away with the foul opportunity.
James the miss, but Seitz got the rebound and stepped on the baseline. And Kenny Pearson will check in when we come back. There's a timeout on the floor. 8:25 to go. Both teams shooting the lights out. Evansville 27, Illinois State 26.
Leadership, teamwork, talent are the keys to success no matter what game you're in. Hi, I'm Kevin Stallings, head coach for the Illinois State University Redbirds. If you're looking for a financial institution who will put it all together, look to First Federal Savings. Locally owned and managed, the team at First Federal will apply their history of success and personal service to get results for you.
79% from the field, Matt, and only have a 1-point lead. Kevin Stallings is probably feeling pretty good right now.
Well, he's got to be feeling good. And Evansville right now is out rebounding the Redbirds 8-3, but a lot of that's just because Evansville hasn't missed many opportunities.
Vic Williams had a shot swatted out of there by a couple of Evansville Purple Aces. Jeremy Stanton, one of them.
Yeah, Williams needs to be careful right now. The knock on him in the early part of the season when he was looking too much to score and not being enough of a point guard. He needs on that play to distribute the ball. That time he missed an open Kenneth Pearson for a shot opportunity.
Wilson loses the ball. Now the Redbirds get it right back.
What a move.
Here's Vic Williams from the baseline after a little juke and jive in the corner.
And Bryson, as he's running down the floor, is laughing because he really left the Evansville defender in his dust.
Redbirds back in front, 28-27. Illinois State now shooting 58% from the floor. Both the offenses are really clicking so far. Here's Begley spinning on Pearson, swatted out of there by KP, and saved by Kenneth Pearson. What a defensive effort by the senior from Conroe, Texas. And Sean Riley threw the ball away as he and Tyrese Bryson don't connect.
Yeah, a little miscommunication. Bryson was going for the backdoor cut. Would have had an open layup.
Another timeout on the floor. 7:09 to play in the first half. Redbirds lead the Aces 28-27. 0:07 to play here in the first half.
Redbirds with a 1-point lead, even though Evansville shooting 73%. Defensively, they stepped it up as of late.
Snow lost the dribble, had the ball knocked out of his hands by Kenneth Pearson, but picked up by Wilson. With Bryson on him and 10 seconds on the shot clock. Now it's Stanton. 6 on the clock. Snow gives it up to Wilson. 3 on the clock. Bailout 3 is up and no good, and the rebound controlled by Leroy Watkins.
And that 0 for 3 now for Evansville from three-point range. So the Redbirds have definitely picked up the pace defensively and pushed the offense out on the floor.
And a foul out top this time on Jeremy Stanton. Vic Williams has been the Redbird offensive spark so far. 14 points from the freshman on 4 of 5 shooting from three-point land.
And again, I'll repeat myself, that can be dangerous as well. If he doesn't distribute the ball like he needs to be on the point guard position, the rest of the offense could stand around and watch him.
Pearson now hands to Bryson. With Stanton on him. He draws a double team as Snow comes over to help. Here's Leroy Watkins.
Good pass again by Pearson. He's not a threat to shoot the ball until he does get to the basket, but he unloaded that at just the right time to give Watkins the easy two.
Runyon, offensive foul as Kyle Cartmill drew the charge.
I tell you, the seniors are fired up out here tonight. You got Kenneth Pearson, Leroy Watkins, and Kyle Cartmill really going after it, being helped out by Victor Williams, but they want to go out in style in their last game here at Redbird Arena.
Yeah, Runyon using his offhand to push off on Kyle Cartmill. He's whistled for the foul. Redbirds with the basketball and a 3-point lead. The largest lead of the game was Evansville's 7-point advantage at 21-14. ISU now has its largest advantage of 3. Watkins drawing a double team, threw the ball away, picked off by Stanton. 2-on-2 now.
And again, on that play, with Watkins having the ball where he had it, Victor Williams needed to come down to the corner and get it away from him.
Wilson draws the foul on Williams as Vic Williams came over to help. That's his first foul, and the team's 5th.
Again, Williams a little outmatched that time, or a mismatch against Marcus Wilson underneath, and Wilson took advantage of it.
Wilson had a shot blocked from behind that time. The Redbirds very aggressive with their hands on defense.
Good recovery by Bryson. Again, he was beaten on the drive by Wilson. Wilson very quick to the basket, trying to take advantage of that move against Bryson. He recovered and was able to get a piece of the ball. As
an indicator of how aggressive the Redbirds defense has been recently, as Therese Bryson's now called for a walk, Evansville started the game shooting 10 out of 10 from the floor. Since that point, the Aces are just 1 of 7. So the Redbirds have done a nice job of trying to answer that with a little aggressiveness on the defensive end.
Well, that's exactly right. They pushed him out on the floor more, made him take some last-second shot clock shots as opposed to getting shots within their offense.
And another steal, this time by Vic Williams. Both teams are getting a little sloppier with the basketball now. Bryson, baseline, gives it up to Pearson, up and in, and the foul.
And a good pass off that time by Bryson. He had a good move to the baseline, was able to draw the defender out to him, and instead of forcing the shot up, laid it off to Pearson. Again, Bryson, as he has Runyon coming out to guard him, lays it off inside to Pearson.
I think you've hit the nail on the head, Matt. The Redbird seniors, playing in their final home game of their careers, have really brought some emotion to the table. Kenny Pearson, Kyle Cartmill, Leroy Watkins. They've all played with some urgency.
Well, and to be honest with you, that's the type of emotion they've really lacked for the majority of the season.
Pearson completes the 3-point play, and Kenny Pearson has 7 points in the first half. He has matched his career high. Here's Snow missing off the glass and tipped around. It's Vic Williams, the board for the Redbirds.
Just a great athletic play again by Pearson to recover and to bother that shot momentarily by Snow. Runyon, just a great defender out there trying to keep up with the ultra-quick Victor Williams.
Cartmill for 3. Can't get it. Kwame James, the board for the Aces. Hands it to Stanton now. As we approach the 4-minute mark left in the half. 33-27, Illinois State. Snow pump fakes on Pearson, works the baseline, offensive foul.
And that's just at the other end, and that's what Jim Cruz is asking for now. At the other end, as Watkins went to the basket, he ran over Snow, didn't get the call. And on the defensive end, Watkins gets the benefit of the doubt. Foul on Snow.
Timeout on the floor. 3. Back at Redbird Arena, offensive fouls. The Redbirds have drawn several of them, man. Here's Craig Snow.
And again, help side defense by Leroy Watkins getting over, able to draw the charge against Snow. The previous play on the other end, Snow appeared as if he may have drawn a charge against Watkins. He didn't get the call, however.
Snow and Adam Seitz and Kyle Runyon each have been called for offensive fouls as the Redbirds have done a nice job of getting themselves set defensively. 5-second violation as Jeremy Stanton was all over Vic Williams.
Yeah, Stanton's quick enough and a good enough defender that he can stay with Victor Williams. And again, that's the knock against Williams. Once he starts to get in the scorer's mentality, he tries to do too much, and that time just dribble the ball too much.
Kevin Stallings is really, really close to getting a technical foul right now.
Well, he's trying to get a little bit of ruling out of Ron Burkholz, and Burkholz not going to put up with him very long because he's a veteran official.
33-27, Illinois State with the lead, Evansville with the basketball. And we've got a foul away from the basketball. It's going to be on Evansville.
Yeah, Runyon that time trying to set a back screen against Kenneth Pearson, trying to bring Snow to the ball. It'll send Kenneth Pearson to the line for a one-on-one opportunity. He's his only free throw attempt so far in the ball game.
Obviously, Jim Cruz not too thrilled with that call, thinking it may have been a make good. Substitution now for the Aces. Adam Seitz comes back in the game, as does Curtin Begley. He'll return. He'll chase Kwame James to the Aces bench. Redbirds are now in the bonus, so Kenny Pearson, who has not had a lot of experience at the free throw line, in fact, he's just 5 of 11 this season, goes to the foul line.
And don't say too much, Kurt, because he's doing okay. Yeah, and what a benefit it is to have Pearson playing the way he is and being able to stay out there for those minutes, because with Sean Riley on the bench with 2 fouls, you can ill afford to have him pick up his 3rd in the first half.
I know you've made the point several times during our broadcasts how frustrating it is to see the athleticism he brings to the table, but only being able to play 5 and 6 minutes a night because of his bad knees. Kyle Carpenter comes up with the steal after Leroy Watkins got a hand on the ball. The Redbird defense has really turned it up. Here's Williams. Had to change his shot. Kenny Pearson picks up the loose ball. Now gives it up to Watkins. Now it's Cartmill working on Seitz.
A little sloppy right now for the Birds. They need to regain their composure offensively and just work their offense.
Bryson hangs in the lane and scores.
Good tough shot, adjusted his shot in the air because he had Wilson right on his heels.
Suddenly the Redbirds have a 10-point lead. 37-27, under 3 minutes to go in the half. Here's Wilson. Down the lane, high off the glass and in. Big shot.
Tough shot. That's the only way that ball could have gone in, is to get it up high off the glass, because Kenneth Pearson would have put that in about the 5th row.
Wilson had been quiet for really the last 10 minutes, but scores his 11th point. He leads his team. Vic Williams, the man with the basketball right now, leads Illinois State with 14. He lost the dribble. Now gives it up to Leroy Watkins.
Yeah, Watkins now getting a little frustrated. He's been open a couple times on the block inside, and Williams hasn't gotten him the ball.
Williams guarded aggressively by Jeremy Stanton, out of bounds, off of Evansville. The Redbirds are going to have 4 seconds left on the shot clock. What a job Jeremy Stanton is doing on Vic Williams.
Yeah, he's a great defender, just very quick, always anticipates the next move offensively, and that time Victor Williams threw a couple of his good moves at him and still got with him.
Marcus Wilson got fat picked, and Therese Bryson had an easy lay-in off the inbound.
Good patience by the Redbirds out of that offensive out-of-bounds play. Just staying with it until the last moment. Got an easy lay-in. Under
2 minutes to play in the half, and the Redbird lead is back to 10, and Begley answers with a pull-up jumper.
And Watkins right in his face, too. A tough shot that time by Begley.
Begley on the all-bench team. In fact, the captain of the all-bench team, getting the most votes by the MVC coaches and media around the league. Considered the top player off the bench out of any team so far in the league. And a turnover by Therese Bryson.
Again, the Redbirds just dribbling the ball way too much. They need to really move the ball around a little better.
Here's Marcus Wilson on the other end, quickly back and drawing a foul on Therese Bryson.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. A situation like that can happen, and Jeremy Stanton just took advantage of it. The Redbirds walking down the floor defensively, not really getting to their man, and between Stanton and Wilson, they were able to generate some offense and get to the free throw line.
And so Wilson, who's an 89% free thrower, is at the line. This guy turned out one of the best performances by any player in the Missouri Valley this year when he dropped 9 3-pointers on Tennessee Martin back in November. It tied an NCAA record. He was 9 of 9 from three-point land. So a free throw is like a drop in the bucket for him. He knocks them both down, give him 13 points. It's now a 39-33 game. The Redbirds with a 6-point advantage. And Stanton continues to hound Vic Williams.
Yeah, Williams is starting to get a little frustrated even offensively.
And Cartmill hits the floater in the lane. Under a minute to go now in the half. Cartmill with 5. The Redbird lead is 8, 41-33. Stanton from the outside knocks down a 3.
Big shot. Again, as I said before, he's not a big scorer for them. Only averages 5 a game. He's sitting on that right now. But when he has his opportunities, he takes advantage of them.
Vic Williams now. His bounce pass inside is picked off by Seitz. Back comes Evansville now.
Yeah, Kenneth Pearson with his athletic ability, you got to put that ball up in the air.
And Begley gets a terrific feed from Stanton, and quickly Evansville cuts a 10-point deficit down to just 3.
And again, Stanton just really taking this team on his back and really getting them the opportunities, either scoring or delivering it when the guys can score on their own.
Watkins is fouled with 3.7 seconds left in the half, and he'll go to the free throw line. Good dribble penetration that time by Williams.
And again, the more of the point guard mentality that time, and instead of trying to force a shot, dropped it off to Watkins, where he was either in a scoring or a foul situation.
So a pair of shots now for Leroy Watkins.
2 shots.
The senior from Chicago Corliss playing in his final Redbird Arena ball game. Timeout by Jim Cruz, as he's going to use a 20-second timeout to map out a play that his aces will try to execute with 3.7 left on the clock.
Not a good call in that situation. You can't carry over your 20-second timeout, so Cruz taking advantage and trying to set something up. And again, with 3.7 seconds, when you have players like Stanton and Wilson to get up and down the floor so quickly, you still have plenty of time to get off a good shot.
42-38, Illinois State with a 4-point lead. 3.7 seconds left here in the first half. Leroy Watkins is going to get one more free throw. Evansville dominated the early going of the game, as you see Kurt Begley's replay. He laid that ball in from Stanton. The first 10 or 12 minutes of this game were dominated by Evansville. Jim Cruz's team hit its first 10 shots from the field. But the Redbirds stepped it up defensively in the last 7 or 8 minutes of the half. It's been Illinois State controlling the tempo.
Well, and Vic Williams getting off to the quick start that he had from 3-point range really kept him in the ballgame.
Missed free throw. Vic Williams gets the ball and fouled by Begley. That's not exactly what the Evansville Aces drew up in the huddle.
No, and sometimes the ball just doesn't bounce your way. Begley at 6'8", Victor Williams maybe 6 foot. The ball just bounced right to him, and Begley a little slow reacting. Maybe got a piece of Williams on the box out, but didn't maintain his position.
So Williams, who's had a terrific first half, has an opportunity to improve on his 14-point performance here in the first 20 minutes of this basketball game. And he does by making 1 of 2. 2.8 seconds left on the clock. He almost stole the pass, and now Hetty's long shot is no good. So Vic Williams did a nice job to deflect that ball and to knock the Aces off their offensive plans. We're at halftime. The Redbirds lead it by 5, 43-38. Halftime at Redbird Arena, where Illinois State leads Evansville 43-38 in the regular season home finale for Illinois State. Kurt Pegler, Matt Taphorn with you here. A good performance by the Redbirds in the first half, especially considering Evansville really came out of the gates in a real hot streak. Yeah, shooting 68%. The Redbirds have to feel very fortunate right now to be up 5 points. And, they've shot the ball very well as well. Almost 60% for the Redbirds. And a performance like that, you would hope to have the lead. Yeah, we made a lot of light out of the fact that the Redbirds saw Evansville jump out to a quick start by hitting their first 10 shots. Evansville was 10 of 10 from the floor, but since that time only went, 5 out of 12. Well, in Illinois State, in the early going with Victor Williams helping out, and here Leroy Watkins taking a very high percentage shot, leading to their 59%. But again, Vic Williams kept them in the ball game during that run early on that Evansville had in hitting those first 10 shots. And the fact that he was able to hit some big 3-point shots, 4 out of 5 in the first half. He has 15 points to lead the way for Illinois State here in the first half. Yeah, Williams with 15 points for Illinois State. Marcus Wilson, perhaps the Missouri Valley Conference Player of the Year, 13 points for Evansville, and a 43-38 Redbird lead. We'll sit down with Illinois State Athletic Director Rick Greenspan when we come back here. Halftime at Redbird Arena with the Birds up by 5. Back here at halftime, Illinois State leads Evansville 43-38. Kurt Pegler along with Rick Greenspan, who's the athletic director here at Illinois State. I know you're happy with this score, but let's ask you about a couple of other things ongoing on campus. Rick, first of all, presidential search is winding down, isn't it?
Yeah, the campus has had 3 individuals visiting. one internal candidate and 2 off campus. And I believe the recommendation will probably be made next week or 10 days. I probably can't comment on 2 of those individuals. I don't know them very well from off campus. I do know Vice President Boschini, who I've had a chance to work with for 18 months. And certainly he'd be an outstanding candidate, and the president is dynamic and candid, and I think very well respected.
Perhaps the most exciting news that you've had in a little while came this past week with some announcement with the football program and the facilities there being upgraded.
Yeah, that was very exciting. The trustees approved a student recommendation on some funding to build a office and locker room set up for football. Obviously, our facilities have been really neglected for a long time in that area, and with the success that Todd's had and the enthusiasm he's created, we think that's the start of some very positive things that we hope to do with our facilities, not just in football, but hopefully the completion of Redbird Arena and a baseball stadium and some other things.
In the last 15 seconds, I know you're excited about the women's basketball regional, which comes here next month, too.
Very excited. 5,000 tickets sold. We're the leading region right now. We have full anticipation of getting a team that'll travel well, bring a lot of media. Great event. We recommend anybody who has any interest in basketball come out and see top-notch women's basketball.
And we'll see if we can't hold on to this lead for you tonight.
It'd be great. We hope we can do that.
5-point Redbird lead. Thanks, Rick Greenspan, the AD, for joining us. 43-38, the Redbirds lead here at halftime at Redbird Arena on Senior Day. Bill 38. Let's take a look at those first half statistics. Matt, those numbers from the field goal percentages are just awesome.
Yeah, we touched on that. And Evansville shooting 68% and trailing by 5 points here at half. The Birds shooting 59%. But more noticeable is the 25%, 1 out of 4 for Evansville, 6th in the country in three-point field goal percentage. The Birds really showing their worth today at 6 out of 9, 67%. Both teams shooting the ball fairly well from the line. Illinois State 71% on 5 out of 7, and Evansville has not missed an attempt, or 1 out of their 7 attempts. Both teams not many rebounds to gather because of the good shooting.
Right.
Rebounds right now, Illinois State out rebounding Evansville 11-9, and turnovers 9-10. With Evansville leading the way. The
Aces leading scorer right now is Marcus Wilson with 13 points. Jeremy Stanton is 7. Vic Williams leads the ISU attack with 15. And Therese Bryson has 7. Or I should say Kenny Pearson has 9. That is for the Redbirds. We are back now live. Second half action. Here's Jeremy Stanton.
Yeah, the Redbirds going in their triangle and 2 set for some reason have Victor Williams guarding Snow out there. So fortunate, I think, that time to come away with a defensive stop.
Another 3-point miss that time by Evansville as Adam Seitz comes up short. And the Redbirds have their first offensive possession in the second half. It's Cartmill, Pearson, Crowley, Leroy Watkins, and Vic Williams. Here's Crowley in the lane. He draws the foul on Seitz, his 3rd.
That's the 3rd time this ball game that Crowley has taken Seitz to the basket and has been able to draw a foul against him. And he's got a couple of inches against Seitz and was able to take advantage of it on that occasion.
So Ryan Crowley goes to the free throw line, 77% from the line. He scored 10 points in the first meeting of the year between the two teams and was really credited for keeping Marcus Wilson under wraps in the Redbird victory at Evansville last month. He has started now in 10 consecutive ball games, and not bad for a guy who is a former walk-on. 1 out of 2 from the line. The Redbird lead is 6 at 44-38 as we played 30 seconds here in the second half.
Let's see what defense the Redbirds come out with. Look like they're in the triangle and 2 again, with Crowley staying on Marcus Wilson and Victor Williams, as we touched on, staying on Craig Snow.
Stanton, Seitz, Snow, James, and Wilson are the 5 on the floor that start the second half for Jim Cruz and his Evansville Purple Aces. Crowley knocked that ball aggressively off of Marcus Wilson and out of bounds. A turnover. It goes to the Redbirds.
Yeah, 35 feet away from the basket. That's a good turnover for the Redbirds to come away with, but something that I'm sure is frustrating Jim Cruz at this point.
Kyle Runyon now comes in the game to replace Adam Seitz. A quick substitution here in the opening minute of the second half. 44-38, the Redbirds with the basketball and the early second half lead. Again, Evansville has at least clinched a share of the conference championship and looking to win it outright with a victory today. Vic Williams missed the shot and Snow the board. Here come the Aces now. Stanton brings it up and gives it back out now to Wilson. His pass intended for Kwame James draws the foul of Leroy Watkins.
Well, Watkins really looked like he got around James in pretty good fashion that time, and James just kept his arm held out against Watkins' chest, and that's what the official saw in the play and made the call.
First team foul in the second half on the Birds. Wilson off the inbounds pass knocks down the three.
Yeah, he didn't really have that much room to get that shot off as Crowley was flying at him, but just enough to knock it down.
And Marcus Wilson, with his first 3 of the game, has taken over leadership in the scoring column. He has 16 points to lead all scorers. It's a 3-point Redbird lead. Pearson gives it up to Crowley. His 3 ball is no good, tapped out long, and Crowley goes and knocks it over to Kyle Cartmill.
Yeah, that's not really Crowley's shot out there. He needs to get in about 15 feet or driving to the basket. His 3-point range is not as good as what some of the other players are.
In fact, he's now 1 out of 13 from 3-point land. Kenny Pearson had his shot blocked not once but twice, and on the second one, it was a held ball possession. It's going to go to Evansville. Yeah,
Pearson stayed with it that time, but instead of using the basket that time to his advantage and going underneath and trying to lay it in, came right back into Snow, and he was able to get a good hand on it. Snow gets it the first time going up, stays with it, a little bit of contact, but again, instead of coming this side with the ball, goes right back up. Snow just snuffs it again.
And Pearson leaves the game now in favor of Sean Riley.
Yeah, Birds in a straight-up man-to-man defense now. In this situation, have a better handle of where everybody is on the floor.
Here's Stanton now with Williams on hand and 12 on the shot clock. Snow, entry pass to James. He fakes on Riley, spins and misses the shot. Leroy Watkins came over, may have gotten a piece of it.
Good help by Watkins. Riley fortunate to get away with one that time as he had a lot of body that time against Kwame James.
Vic Williams left open. Another 3 ball is down. And Vic Williams is now 5 out of 6 from 3-point land. 18 points for Victor Williams.
Jeremy Stanton caught inside that time trying to help out with Leroy Watkins wanting the ball from out top from Sean Riley. Victor Williams just stand there wide open and say, well, knock it in.
Marcus Wilson draws a foul as Ryan Crowley hacked him on the reach-in.
That'll be Crowley's 3rd foul. Again, Marcus Wilson taking advantage of the tight defense being played by Crowley, was able to drive to the basket. Crowley got a lot of ball that time, but 9 times out of 10, when you reach down on top of the ball, the official's going to make the foul call.
So Wilson goes to the free throw line, where he is perfect today. 6 out of 6 now.
Rattled that one home. That's the first time he's drawn iron this whole game out of 6 attempts.
He's coming off an 18-point performance in Wednesday night's victory over Bradley, which assured the Evansville Aces of at least a tie for the conference title. They have a 2-game lead with 2 games to play.
And their last game is Monday night at home against the Southwest Missouri State Bears, also tied for 2nd.
Right. Cartmill's pull-up jumper's no good. Crowley there for the putback.
Good job by Crowley. Again, just a hard-nosed, blue-collar type player, and stayed after it and was able to come up with the rebound.
Snow had a shot swatted out of there by Leroy Watkins, who's #1 all-time on the school list in block shots. The only player in Redbird history with 100 career blocks and 100 career steals. In fact, only the 3rd player in the history of the Missouri Valley to pull that double. Riley left open from 18. His shot is short and tapped out by Watkins, but he's over the back.
Yeah, a little push that time by Watkins before he was able to get his hand on the ball, and John Higgins from out top made the call. But as you touched on, those other 2 players, Mitchell Anderson from Bradley and Xavier McDaniel from Wichita State, so Leroy Watkins in some good company.
Yeah. Mitchell Anderson, Leroy Watkins, and Xavier McDaniel, the only 3 players in Valley history to ever register 100 blocks and 100 steals in their careers. But that foul was on Watkins. Here's Snow, pull-up jumper is no good, and the rebound to Vic Williams.
Open look that time by Snow as he came off the screen in the double team against Marcus Wilson. Just unable to hit that shot as he was open from about 18.
Leroy Watkins inside. Missed the shot. Kwame James, the rebound knocked out of his hands, though. Leroy Watkins comes back up with it, looking for help. Gives it out to Cartmill. His 3 is up and down.
That second chance opportunity was created by Ryan Crowley again. He was the one who got his hand on the ball after a missed shot by Leroy Watkins. They worked it back out, and Cartmill knocked down the 3.
And the Redbird Arena crowd awakens. Wilson quiets the crowd with a 3 of his own.
Tough shot. And Crowley's just shaking his head because he was right in his face. He's
knocked down 2 3-point shots here in the half. 21 on the game for Wilson, who's averaging 19.5. So he's already over his average with better than 14 minutes to go. Williams spins and finds Crowley, who gives it up to Riley. Back to Crowley.
Runyon was guarding Crowley on the play, and as he gave it up, he stumbled and fell inside the lane. Crowley, recognizing, just went straight to the basket. Good heads-up play that time by Ryan Crowley.
Very alert play by the Redbirds, who have the lead back up to 8. And a steal that time by Leroy Watkins as he knocked it in the corner, and Sean Riley went and got it.
The Redbirds have really picked up their effort after the first 10 minutes of this ball game, really making Evansville work for every opportunity they have.
Watkins inside. He draws the foul on Snow. It'll be no basket, but the big physical presence of Leroy Watkins is too much for Snow to handle on that possession.
Yeah, this official's timeout coming up here will really give Watkins an advantage. He needs a blow right now.
And so we'll step aside. 14 minutes and 5 seconds to go in regulation. 54-46, the Redbirds with the lead here in the second half. Leroy Watkins drawing the foul that time on Craig Snow. The shot won't count, but again, just the physical presence of Leroy Watkins really causing some trouble.
Yeah, Watkins very active defensively, 3 blocks in the ball game. And on the offensive end, he's really establishing position inside for some additional scoring opportunities.
Tyrese Bryson is in the game, and so is Kenny Pearson, who missed the scoop shot, and it's Begley with the board. Bounce pass from Wilson is picked off by Kyle Cartmill. Pass was intended for Snow.
Yeah, Cartmill was just reading Wilson's eyes that time. A bad pass that time by Wilson, trying to hit Snow, streaking up the middle.
Bryson seeing his first action here in the second half. Still wearing that cast around his shin. Kyle Cartmill left open in the corner for 3. Missed it. Kenny Pearson, the tip, no good.
He comes out of nowhere sometimes to get his hands on the ball. Great effort that time by Pearson.
Now Seitz. And a shot snuffed by Sean Riley. Redbird defense very, very active. Wilson around a screen, knocked down the jumper.
He's thinking one thing when he gets the ball. He knows where his defender is. He even took a look out of the corner of his eye to find out where Bryson was. Saw he had the open shot. Just knocked it down. He's an incredible player out there right now.
23 of his team's 48, almost half the offense coming out of Marcus Wilson. That time, Vic Williams was hemmed in the corner by Begley and Stanton, and he threw the ball off of Stanton's knee and out of bounds.
And to be honest with you, get back to Marcus Wilson, he's keeping them in this ball game. If it wasn't for him, Illinois State would really, be widening the margin that they have at 6 points now with the ball. But Marcus Wilson's had 10 points here in the second half.
And a reach-in foul this time on Jeremy Stanton.
And Stanton and Williams doing a little jawing out there.
Yeah.
And, both players are very quick. But Victor Williams right now has so far had the advantage against Jeremy Stanton in the ballgame.
Williams to trigger, inbounds to Riley. Jumper is up and down. First 2 points of the night for Sean Riley. Quickly back the other end. Marcus Wilson scoop shot. It's going to be an offensive foul on Marcus Wilson.
Yeah. Riley hits the 12-foot shot at one end, hustles down, establishes position against Marcus Wilson, driving to the basket. Gets the offensive foul called against Marcus Wilson to go the other way for the Redbirds. So again, just a great all-around effort, team effort by the Redbirds.
Wilson may have tweaked an ankle just a little bit. He appears to be trying to bounce up and down it a little bit to get some blood flow in there. Vic Williams goes to the Redbird bench. A nice round of applause for the freshman from Kansas City. Kenny Pearson also goes to the Redbird bench. Ryan Crowley comes back in the game, as does Leroy Watkins.
Yeah, we'll see how Kyle Cartmill handles the pressure by Jeremy Stanton. That's been the thing that's really plagued Cartmill this year is handling the ball when Victor Williams is out of the ball game with a tough defender like Jeremy Stanton. We'll see how he reacts.
Watkins had the ball swatted out of there by guess who? Jeremy Stanton. He's got Bryson to beat, all the way down, scooped it up and laid it in.
Such quick hands. He just was playing cat and mouse that time with Leroy Watkins. Staying with Cartmill in the corner or coming in inside against Watkins, came up with a steal.
Major pick that time. Leroy Watkins just hammered Jeremy Stanton at the timeline. That looked like a linebacker leveling a wide receiver across the middle, but Begley stepped in front of the passing lanes, picked off the pass in front of Riley, laid it up. He's going to draw the foul on Kyle Cartmill.
2 straight turnovers by the Redbirds. really rejuvenating this Evansville offense, and they're attacking the ball game. And again, Victor Williams comes out of the game, 2 straight turnovers. Cartmill trying to recover on the play, catches Begley on the left arm. He almost converts the shot and goes to the line for a 3-point play, but it rolls out, so he'll go to the line for 2.
Senior from Ferdinand, Indiana. He's averaging about 8 points a game off that Evansville bench. The leading vote getter for the all-bench team, and also the most improved team. So obviously his senior year has been a terrific one.
He's been a solid player for all 4 years. That situation missed the first attempt for the Evansville Aces here in the ballgame. Now they're 9 out of 10. Missed them both.
He missed them both, and Sean Riley got it for the Redbirds.
Now you see Victor Williams back in the ballgame now for the Redbirds to take care of the ball.
And that screen that Leroy Watkins set on Jeremy Stanton really knocked the cobwebs out of him.
Well, I think Stanton may have acted on it a little bit, but it really took him off his feet. And the crowd kind of went nuts after that.
Drop down pass from Riley to Watkins. Nicely done.
And again, the interior defense of Evansville right now just can't match up with the strength and size of Leroy Watkins.
Stanton is saved, but he stepped on the end line. A bad pass by Marcus Wilson.
Redbirds pushing the offense out, forcing the turnovers by Evansville.
16 turnovers by Evansville. A timeout on the floor. Redbird fans on their feet. The home team leads it 58-50. Thus far, senior day at Illinois State has been a good one for the Redbirds. Leroy Watkins a lay-in here. Illinois State with a 58-50 lead over the first place Evansville Purple Aces.
Yeah, and again, defensively, they've really turned it up a notch. Neither team actually shooting over 50% here in the second half after they started out so hot in the first half. But again, they picked it up defensively. Both teams have, and really forced both teams into a little more difficult offensive situations.
We approach the 11-minute mark left in this one. It's been a very entertaining basketball game. Here's Riley now, gives it up to Bryson. Around a screen and roll. Riley with just 2 points. Watkins feeds the open Kyle Cartmill. Missed the shot, Watkins the board, and the foul is going to be on whom?
That'll be on Begley. He was just riding Leroy Watkins right out of there. He had the inside track to get to the ball. Watkins grimacing a little bit as he comes up. The ball will be out of bounds on the baseline to the Redbirds. Again, you see Watkins has the position. Begley just kind of rides him right out of the lane. Picks up the foul.
Vic Williams to trigger, and he goes out top now to Riley. Under 11 minutes to go. Cartmill. Here's Watkins around a triple team. He finds the open Riley.
Watkins is really having his way inside right now.
Bagley left open. He trailed the play. He missed the 3, and Williams the long rebound. And now he pushes up against Stanton. And a foul on Jeremy Stanton.
Stanton's really frustrated, and I can see why. He was just toe-to-toe with Victor Williams on the play, and John Higgins is going to step in and say, hey, you guys, let's just play ball. Right now, Victor Williams and Jeremy Stanton, after every play, are bumping each other. But, again, do you see the quickness of Jeremy Stanton staying with Victor Williams? As he has one thing on his mind, that's to get to the basket. Stanton's stride for stride with him. Picks up what I would consider a touch foul that time.
Illinois State is now in the bonus.
Redbirds now in the bonus. As that's the 6th team foul on Evansville, the 3rd on Stanton. Another backdoor play from Watkins to Riley.
Craig Snow just lost where Sean Riley was, and Watkins did a great job of getting the ball to him right underneath the bucket.
Stanton from the corner now. On the baseline, finds Sykes. Spinning. Out to Stanton for 3. No good. Tipped into the corner and out of bounds. Off of Leroy Watkins.
Watkins fortunate not to get a foul called him that time as he reached over Snow to tip that ball out of bounds. The Redbirds that time were in a matchup zone and really lost the player quite a few times. That time Stanton missing an open shot.
And that time they lost Marcus Wilson. All he's done is pump in 23 points tonight.
How do you lose a guy like that on an out-of-bounds play right underneath the basket? Just, you know, again, the Redbirds just weren't ready on the out-of-bounds play, and that's been their problem most of the year.
Leroy Watkins picked up his 3rd foul at the 9:59 mark. And so Wilson goes to the free throw line. Here's another look at that tipped out-of-bounds play. off of Watkins. I'll tell you, Marcus Wilson, for a guard, gets to the free throw line a ton of times, Matt. And when you're shooting almost 90% from the free throw line, that's a great way to chalk up some points.
Yeah, and actually, Therese Bryson, coming into this ball game, has only been to the line 5 fewer times than Marcus Wilson. So, again, both of them very aggressive type offensive players that get to the line and have great production. Therese Bryson also an 84% free throw shooter.
10-point Redbird lead, 62-52. Leroy Watkins had the ball knocked off of him. Nope, it was out of bounds off of Evansville.
Redbird's fortunate to come up with that.
Right.
Riley hit Watkins in the shin with that ball. In fact, I think it might have even injured Leroy on the play. It came at him so quickly, but just a poor pass that time by Sean Riley.
Clint Keon has now entered the game for Evansville, so it's Keon, Begley, Snow, Stanton, and Wilson on the floor for Evansville. Cartmill, Williams, Bryson, Riley, and Watkins are the 5 on the floor now for the Redbirds. 9.5 to go in this one. Redbirds with a 10-point lead, 62-52. Cartmill's pass intended for Watkins, or I should say for Riley's in the corner. There's just 2 seconds left on the shot clock, and that's a shot clock violation as the Redbirds lost track of the time.
Yeah, nobody that time took charge and knew how much time was left on the shot clock, and that's just poor concentration that time by the Redbirds.
So a turnover for Illinois State, their 12th. And Evansville now with a chance to get under double digits in the deficit column. And Marcus Wilson misses the shot. Begley, though, got the rebound. He puts it up and may have drew the foul. He did on Sean Riley.
Riley had the ball right in his hands. He just had to pull it in and just couldn't come up with it. Bobbled it. Begley got it turned and drew the foul. He'll go to the line for 2. Again, you saw the ball come right into Riley's hands. Just unable to corral it.
Begley, a 74% free thrower, although he missed his last 2 free throws. That one rolls in. Kevin Stallings' team trying to hold on to this momentum and keep Evansville at bay. He missed the second one, so he's just 1 out of 4 in his last 4 free throws. Both teams now are in the bonus. We're under 9 minutes to go in this one. It's a 9-point Redbird advantage.
And out of the 15 points that Evansville has scored here in the second half, Marcus Wilson has 12 of those.
And Leroy Watkins may have just picked up his 4th foul. I believe so.
Yeah, Victor Williams pleading with the official. He got hit in the side of the head as he was going up. So Watkins actually reached over the back. You see Stanton catches him in the side of the head as he goes up. No call on the play. Watkins reaches right over the back of Keon on the play and send him to the line for a bonus opportunity.
That's a big, big foul. Now Leroy Watkins will leave the game in favor of Brian Crowley. Nice hand for Watkins as he goes to the bench. What a terrific game Leroy Watkins is playing in his final game in this facility.
Yeah, Watkins has picked up a couple of silly fouls here in the second half, just reaching over the back. And again, when you get tired, you're playing more minutes. You don't get yourself in a position to get clean rebounds. Draw some fouls in those situations.
A couple of Indiana publications had this guy, Clint Keon, as the 1998 High School Player of the Year. He makes both of his free throws, and the Aces have closed the gap, which at one point was 10 just a minute ago, now down to 7. 62-55. The Redbirds with the basketball in the lead. Under 9 minutes to go. Therese Bryson answers with a 3.
A little bit of a forced shot that time by Bryson. He's all smiles running down the floor, though. Big 3-point shot for the sophomore out of Decatur.
Begley now with Crowley on him. Here's Snow. Pump fake around Riley. Pull-up jumper from 16 is off the side of the backboard. He was looking to go glass, and he misjudged it.
Yeah, with the size that Evansville has, or the lack thereof, more of a perimeter-type team, the Redbirds allowed right now to go with more of a 4-guard offense, if you want to call it that, with Ryan Crowley in the ball game instead of either Leroy Watkins or Kenneth Pearson.
8 minutes to go in this one. The Redbirds with a 10-point advantage. And as Matt says, Bryson, Williams, Cartmill are 3 legitimate guards, and with Ryan Crowley kind of a guard forward, it's really 4 guards and 1 post player with Sean Riley in the ballgame right now. Cartmill finds Riley. Backs in on Begley. Spins and scores.
And Stallings wants a foul. I think he should just be glad that that ball rolled in. So it was a tough shot by Sean Riley to knock down.
67-55, so the Redbirds have answered this little Evansville run with a run of their own. So back to a 12-point lead. Keon the miss. Vic Williams the board. Stand right with him. Cartmill now looks inside to Riley, but decides to hang on to it.
Stan's the kind of player that you love to have on your team, but you hate to have to play against because he's in his shorts the whole game.
And Bryson draws a foul. He'll go to the free throw line. You're exactly right about Jeremy Stanton. And the people in these parts know all about him playing at U-High and being a part of Cal Hubbard's teams, which were a fixture in the state tournament.
Well, and he was a great soccer player, too, in high school. And you can tell he's just like the Energizer Bunny out there. He just keeps going and going. He'll play 40 minutes a ball game without a hesitation.
In fact, there was some thought that he might play collegiately, decide to play soccer as opposed to basketball. But he decided to go with hoops when Jim Cruz gave him a scholarship. Therese Bryson makes 1 out of 2, and the Redbird lead is 13. 7:05 to go in regulation. Illinois State 68. First place Evansville 55.
Leadership, teamwork, talent are the keys to success no matter what game you're in. Hi, I'm Kevin Stallings, head coach for the Illinois State University Redbirds. If you're looking for a financial institution who will put it all together, look to First Federal Savings. Locally owned and managed, the team at First Federal will apply their history of success and personal service to get results for you. Find out how to make First Federal a part of your...
He hasn't played all year due to an injury back in August, but the Redbird Arena fans have really enjoyed what they've seen so far, as the seniors have been active and the Redbirds have a 13-point lead. And a foul away from the basketball, and it's on Vic Williams.
Yeah, Marcus Wilson go back in the line. Victor Williams is trying to help out Therese Bryson as Wilson was coming off of a screen. Again, trying to get him under control. He's got 12 points here in the second half. Williams just with the reach-in call.
Wilson is the second all-time leading scorer now in Evansville history. He has better than 1,900 points. Larry Humes, who played in the 1960s alongside Jerry Sloan, is the school's all-time leading point man, but Marcus Wilson has put together a terrific career, and he's put together a terrific afternoon. 27 points right now, and he pulls his team back to within 11. Another foul away from the ball, down low this time.
Good cut again by Ryan Crowley. Therese Bryson had the ball in the corner, double team. Crowley's man was on him. As you can see, he cuts to the basket instead of just standing out on the perimeter. Was able to draw the foul against Begley, his 5th in the ball game.
He's gone. So Kurt Begley, who is one of the top players off the bench for Evansville, one of the top bench players in the league, voted the top player off the bench in the league this week, has fouled out of this ball game. He'll go to the bench, and Kwame James will re-enter the game. Begley leaves with 7 points. And so Ryan Crowley has 1 and 1 at the free throw line. And misses. So the Redbirds failed to take advantage. And back comes Evansville.
Yeah, you got to hit those one-on-one opportunities if you want to win a ball game late in the stages.
Absolutely. Keon, jump pass to Stanton. Under 6.5 to go.
Again, the Redbirds in a box and one right now. Victor Williams trying to stay with Marcus Wilson. Everybody else in matchup principle.
And Wilson hits a pull-up jumper. 29 points now for Marcus Wilson.
He's smooth. I mean, he looked Victor Williams right in the face and just drained that shot. Even though they're trying to play a box and one, trying to concentrate on him, he's still lighting it up.
Williams now around Stanton. His pass is picked off by Keon. Back from the Aces now. All the way down with Cartmill to beat. And he beats him and lays it in.
Victor
and
Williams.
Suddenly,
go ahead, Kurt.
The Redbirds' lead has been cut.
Again, Victor Williams trying to do too much offensively. You know, he needs to maintain control of what he's doing out there and keep the ball in his hands and make sure he gets it to people in scoring opportunities.
A blocking foul called this time as Kwame James and Therese Bryson collided.
Yeah, Bryson, I think, fortunate in that situation. As you can see, Kwame James coming over just a second late. Slides over, gets the blocking foul as opposed to the charge. Again, one of the toughest calls in basketball. But at the other end, Keon, again, a freshman, going in strong, lays it in with the left hand to make it a 7-point lead.
The Redbirds at the free throw line here in the second half, especially lately, have not converted. And Illinois State, which is 8th in the country in free throws at 74.3%, is certainly going to have to count on these foul shots down the stretch.
Well, it's not like they're sending their poor free throw shooters to the line either. They got Crowley going there, and now Bryson misses 2. They've missed 3 opportunities in a row.
And the door is open. Evansville has cut the lead down to 7. Plenty of time left in this one. 5.5 to play. Here's Snow with Pearson guarding him. Now Wilson left open for 3 over Crowley. Missed the shot. Offensive foul, perhaps on Craig Snow on a push-up.
Yeah, and Pearson will go to the line, but the Redbirds fortunate to come away that time as Wilson had an open look from 3-point range. As Snow drove the baseline, he kicked it out to James. Crowley had to recover to the baseline to guard James. As we take it here, look at the replay. Snow baseline, James. Crowley comes down and realizes, hey, wait a second, I left Wilson out there at the 3-point line. He ran back out to him just in time to recover and bother the shot. Wilson came up a little long on the shot that time.
The Redbirds have missed 4 consecutive free throws now.
And one of those a front end of 1, so in a sense they've missed 5 in a row.
Leroy Watkins with 4 fouls re-enters the game now in place of Sean Riley, and Kenny Pearson, who's 3 out of 4 from the free throw line, gets his second attempt. The Birds are now in the double bonus as there's 10 team fouls on Evansville. He missed both free throws, but the back tap goes right back to Pearson. New life for the Birds, who get a second shot at this possession now. Here's Watkins. Gives it up to Crowley in traffic.
That's definitely a block.
And he's going to go to the free throw line. But you got to start making some foul shots.
Yeah, exactly. A good pass that time by Watkins. Didn't force the shot. Had it momentarily, but Crowley does a good job again. Cutting to the basket hard. Craig Snow comes over, picks up his 5th foul.
So Craig Snow will now join Kurt Begley on the Evansville bench. Both those players have fouled out, and Snow leads this ball game with 5:03 to play and with just 2 points.
Yeah, that's a couple of big losses for Evansville too. With 5 minutes to go in the ball game, they've got Runyon coming in. He's injured to some extent. Kwame James is their only post player, and he's not really effective out on the perimeter. So right now the Redbirds have the numbers in their favor, which doesn't happen very often for them because they're injured as well. But again, they just need to take advantage of these free throw shooting opportunities.
After scoring 20 points against the Redbirds last month at home, Craig Snow only 2 points this afternoon and to the bench. And Ryan Crowley knocks down the free throw.
Better legs that time, better follow through than on the other opportunities that Crowley went to the line with.
Kenny Pearson goes to the Redbird bench in favor of Kyle Cartmill. And Crowley gets his second attempt now. Deep knee bend and knock down both free throws.
Much better concentration that time by Crowley. Really good, excellent form on both of those shots.
9 points for Crowley. The Redbird lead is 9, 70-61. Under 5 minutes to go in this one. Here's Wilson. He threw the ball away. And Jim Cruz is trying to say that Therese Bryson got a hand on it.
Yeah, I think actually Bryson may have caught a piece of that, but the ball seemed to go directly out of bounds, and therefore the official, not with a good look on the play, made the call to the Redbirds.
What a basketball game we've seen, folks. Don't go anywhere. 4 minutes and 40 seconds left in this one. And it looks like it's going to go down to the wire. Watkins backs in on Kwame James, fakes, and scores.
Nice little hesitation, that move. Not forcing the situation by Leroy Watkins. Gathered himself, got James off his feet, and then knocked the shot down.
Timeout, Jim Cruz. A 20-second timeout as the Redbird Arena faithful stand up and cheer. Leroy Watkins with 7 points and 6 rebounds has really exerted himself for a guy who even self-admitted this week that he has been disappointed with not only his team but his own performance this year.
Well, again, he's got a lot of ability, and one of the senior leaders on this team has more often than not stepped up in situations where he could have. But I'd say the Redbirds, as of late, have been very effective against some of the top teams in the league. You know, you had Southwest Missouri State in here, you had Creighton in here recently, and now Evansville, which I consider 3 of the top teams. Bradley, they've lost to twice on both very competitive games, as most of the Bradley games are. But again, they really stepped it up today, and with 4 minutes to go in the ball game, have a 11-point lead, but still not out of range with this Evansville team.
Yeah, the Redbirds have played up to the competition, or on the flip side, down to the competition. Keon for 3. He's short. Williams high for the board, and Vic Williams has 18 points in the game and 7 rebounds.
Yeah, just a great all-around performance out of Victor Williams.
His 7 rebounds match a career high.
No assists, though, in this game. Somewhat hard to believe out of a point guard.
That's a good point. Under 4 minutes to go in this one. Redbirds with the ball and an 11-point lead. Bryson spins, kicks to Cartmill, working on Keon. Gives it up to Crowley on the baseline. Big basket for Ryan Crowley.
And again, Cartmill didn't force it. He had the lane, could have forced a shot, but he dumped it off to Crowley for the easy 15-footer.
Marcus Wilson on the other end missed the shot, put up the rebound, and drew the foul.
I don't know how Marcus Wilson even got his hands back on that ball, but just a good job of staying after it. Missed the initial shot, but somehow he got his hands on it again.
An unbelievable knack for the basket, and we have seen some terrific performances here at Redbird Arena this year. I think about Sean Mason's performance, the Wisconsin guard. Eric Roberson's performance for Bradley.
Maurice Evans really lit up the
Maurice
arena
Evans for Wichita
that
State. But I think this performance by Mr. Wilson is probably the best of a visiting player this year.
Well, again, he's just an all-around performer and stays after it this time, comes up, times his rebound exactly right. Doesn't get the roll, but goes to the line again for 2. He's 12 out of 12 from the line. A little over his 89% average.
31 points now for Marcus Wilson.
In a double bonus situation, but need to continue to concentrate at the free throw line.
Trapping defense now by the Aces, trying to come up with some turnovers here. Stanton is guarding Vic Williams. That's been a great matchup all game long. Williams had a shot blocked from behind by Stanton. And let's see if he called timeout or on alternating possession. The Redbirds are screaming that they were calling for timeout, but on the held ball, Illinois State's going to get it.
Well, and they're not giving it a defensive held ball situation either. Good recovery by Jeremy Stanton. Gets all ball. Victor Williams does a good job of just getting possession back.
Yeah. But
as opposed to being a defensive situation, as the ball was loose, since it was a held ball, alternating possession arrow went to the Redbirds.
Under 3 minutes to go now. 2:55 and counting. Leroy Watkins with the left hand, can't get it. Oh! A tip in by Ryan Crowley.
And again, with a smaller team out there right now with Evansville, watch Crowley. He comes from the opposite side. Keon's trying to guard him. He's considered bigger out there with some of the other players, and Crowley does a good job of just going up strong, getting the ball, and laying it back in. Now he'll go to the line for a three-point opportunity.
What a critical basket for the junior from Naperville, who has a chance now to complete the three-point trifecta, and he does. And the Redbird lead is 14 now at 77-63.
That big second half for Crowley. He's got 12 of his 14 points here in the second half.
Hetty, free throw line jumper, up and down. Boy, that's a big basket for a guy who's only averaging 3 points a game.
Yeah, with Begley and Snow out of the game, tough shot, and that's usually a position that they would occupy.
Cartmill, long jump pass over to Vic Williams with 20 on the shot clock, and the Redbirds try to milk it.
Risky pass that time, thrown all the way across the court, especially with Stanton and his quickness.
And Leroy Watkins had the ball knocked out of his hands by Seitz, who's whistled for his 4th foul. And Leroy Watkins to the free throw line. If you're Evansville, it's not a bad foul, because out of the guys on the floor, you would probably want to send Leroy Watkins to the foul line out of anybody.
Exactly, and with 2 minutes to go and a 12-point lead by the Redbirds, that's probably not a bad strategy for Evansville to take at this point. Unless Leroy Watkins knocks it down.
Leroy Watkins got his 1,000th career point on Wednesday night in Cedar Falls against Northern Iowa. 8 points and counting here this afternoon. He missed it. And Tyrese Bryson almost tipped it back, but it was controlled by Marcus Wilson. So the Redbird lead is now 13. It's far from over with the three-point shooting prowess of this team, especially for Marcus Wilson. He has 34 points.
Leroy Watkins was helping out momentarily and left the ball. And Crowley wasn't quite there to gather himself defensively.
And the Redbirds almost got called for a 5-second violation, having trouble inbounding the ball, but instead get it into Ryan Crowley, who draws a foul on Jeremy Stanton on the other end.
Yeah, Crowley momentarily thought about pulling that ball out as Stanton was trailing on the play with his quickness, but as Stanton tried to take to the right-hand side of Crowley, he went to the basket. Good move by Crowley.
Crowley has made some big plays in the last 3 minutes of this basketball game. And he's made some big free throws as well. Made one, missed one, back-tacked by Leroy Watkins. The Redbirds love that play. Jim Cruz has his head in his hands because he can't believe it. It's ticking away on his team with 90 seconds to go, and the Redbirds up by 11.
Yeah, the Redbirds can take the air out of the ball right now, run the shot clock down, keep the ball out of Evansville's hands.
And we might have an injury timeout.
Yeah, Victor Williams has been cramping up about the last 10 minutes of this game. Yeah. Right now, his calf is just tightened up. He can't stretch it out. The official right now recognizing that gave him the injury timeout.
And now the guy who gets the most airtime on the Illinois State bench, John Munn, the team trainer.
He's definitely earned his keep this year.
You name the Redbird and he can tell you the injury. And he takes a look at Vic Williams now on the ISU bench, and Sean Jepson comes into the ball game in his place. Tyrese Bryson for three. Missed the shot. Watkins the board. Leroy Watkins has 2 gigantic offensive rebounds in the last 2 Redbird possessions. And we are now under a minute to go. The Redbird fans are on their feet.
That really may have sealed this ball game for the Redbirds.
Bryson, his pass intended for Crowley is out of bounds. He milked the clock down to 12, tried to draw the double team, which he did successfully, but his pass was errant.
Yeah, he had the right intention on that play, just a little excited as he was going to the basket with an open Crowley from about 10 feet.
Jepson goes back to the Redbird bench in favor of Kenny Pearson as a defensive substitution as Kevin Stallings puts another rebounder in the game.
Here's an interesting matchup.
Wilson, Leroy Watkins. Keon, the long miss. And Kyle Cartwell comes up with it. And the Redbird seniors will leave their careers at Redbird Arena with a victory as we approach the 30-second mark. Kyle Cartmill, Leroy Watkins, and Kenny Pearson will remember their last home game as a victory. And they'll remember it over the team, which right now is tied, or at least has a share of the conference championship, Evansville.
And the game Monday night in Evansville against Southwest could really determine the whole thing.
3 on the shot clock. Long 3 from Tyrese Bryson. Can't get it. The rebound goes to Seitz. His pass ahead to Jeremy Stanton. He misses it, and it's no good on the foul after the buzzer. This ball game is over. Kevin Stallings and Jim Cruz shake hands at midcourt. Cruz's father used to teach here at Illinois State. He's a normal native, but he leaves his hometown with a sour taste. His first place Evansville Aces come to town and lose to the Redbirds, and Kevin Stallings 79-68.
You can see the Redbird seniors over there enjoying the victory, and they'll have a few moments to speak to the crowd here after the ball game and show their appreciation for all they've done in the 4 years that they've been here.
It's senior day, so Kevin Stallings, the head coach, will make a few comments about his seniors and then give his seniors an opportunity to speak to the Redbirds as he's holding a cordless microphone. If we can listen in a little bit.
not be as emotional as last year. Last year was a little difficult for him to get through, but still he's had some great years with Kyle Cartmill, Kenneth Pearson, Leroy Watkins, and even Ronald Van Delsen.
We started the tradition last year of having our seniors speak to you on senior day, and we're going to do that again today. Like I said, I don't think we have very many talkative guys, but if you get tired and don't want to hear the rest of it, you all can get up and leave, I guess. But first guy I want to introduce and bring to the mic is a guy that has battled very hard for us for 4 years. He's been a great player. Probably made the biggest play, at least since I've been here, when he made the pass to Dan Morrow last year in the Tennessee game. From Quincy, Illinois, Kyle Cartmill.
Kyle Cartmill, the Redbird senior, has the microphone. We're going to try to give you this as much as we possibly can, folks. We do have some obligations to meet, but we'll try to bring you as much of this senior ceremony as time will allow us. 79-68, the Redbirds win it. Back to recap in a minute. Back here at Redbird Arena, where Illinois State has beaten Evansville 79-68. It's senior day. The Redbird seniors making some comments to the Redbird Arena fans. Let's listen in.
I'd like to thank my girlfriend for keeping me on straight too. And I also, last but not least, like to thank the ISU cheerleaders. I know a lot of times you don't get a lot of the props that you deserve. I'd like to thank you for being there for us for 4 years. God bless you. Thank everybody for everything.
I hope that when Kyle said his girlfriend, that you all people weren't thinking which one.
79-68. Kevin Stallings breaking up the crowd after his team beats first place Evansville. Back in a minute.
I don't want to fall asleep because I miss you, baby.
The music belongs to all of us, but the night belongs to them. The Grammys. Join Aerosmith and your favorite artists. When these stars hit the stage, anything can happen. The Grammy Awards coming to CBS.
I don't want to miss you.
It's as live as music gets. CBS Wednesday, February 24th.
February 28th. Dr. Bob Shushan just lost his job.
All I know is work.
He almost lost his life. Now, an unlikely hero.
I saved his life.
Will help him find what matters most.
I think I've lost my soul.
From the Oscar-winning writer of Rain Man.
You don't know what I need.
What he's looking for is someone to love.
Donald Sutherland and Party of Five's Matthew Fox.
You've taught me things.
Behind the Mask. CBS February 28th.
The Redbirds wrap up the home portion of their schedule with a 79-68 victory over first place Evansville. That means that the Purple Aces need to win on Monday night at home against Southwest Missouri State to win the conference championship outright. What a performance, Matt, by the Redbird seniors today on senior day.
Well, not only the seniors, but Victor Williams carried him in the first half. Ryan Crowley in the second half. Just an overall great team performance. And that's the kind of performance they've been lacking all year.
Redbirds win it 79-68. Thanks for being with us here, folks, at Redbird Arena. For Matt Tapper, this is Kurt Pegler. Have a good night.